What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark, and I'm back again with another blurredography video. And today we're going to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong because it was just the fight of the century. Like Tyson and Holyfield, just squaring off in the ring. This has been something I've been waiting for my whole life, and I didn't even know it. If you're like me, if you were one of those kids that grew up having like a bunch of toys, of course you had your Godzilla toys and your Transformers and your King Kong and your Optimus Prime, you had them fighting each other, this was that movie for me. This was that movie. Of course, I'm gonna give you what I like and what I didn't like about it and give you the nerdy bits, but I'm gonna try to do it a little differently. I'm gonna talk about it a non-spoilerish of it, and I'll let you know. I'll give a countdown when I start talking about the spoiler. And yeah, we'll just go from there. First, let's get into what I liked about it. Once the movie got going, it got to the point. Once, you know, you're introduced to Kong very early in the movie, you're introduced to Godzilla very early in the movie, and then you just have 30 minutes of human stupid stuff that has nothing to do with the plot, it has nothing to do with anything. It's just humans being humans, and you have some interesting humans. Paperboy is an interesting human. He did a very good job being the conspiracy theorist podcast host, trying to uncover the truth. And 11 was there. She's from the last Godzilla King of the Monsters movie, and you know, Millie Bobby Brown, she did an excellent definitely there was one particular scene that I'll get to in the spoiler section, but there was one particular scene that just was nothing but Stranger Things in my Godzilla vs. Kong movie. What else did I like? Of course, obviously, King Kong and Godzilla, it's in the title, Godzilla vs. Kong, they fight. There's a couple of fight scenes in the movie, which were great, but we'll get into that in the spoiler section. And what else was good about the movie? Nothing. Nothing else was good about the movie. It could have been more fighty. They could give me some more fight scenes, but you know, overall, going to this movie and hearing the hype and seeing the trailers of this movie, I didn't go into this wanting to see a traditional Hollywood movie. I wanted wanting to see one giant CGI monster versus another giant CGI monster. And I got that. The 6-year-old me is happy. I got that. I don't care about character development. I don't care about plot. Just get me to point A to point B to Godzilla and Kong fighting. And this movie did that. For that premise alone, this movie gets a 10 out of 10. Now, let me quickly get into what I didn't like about the movie. The humans are kind of unnecessary and stupid. Like this movie is not clearly this movie is not based in reality. This movie is not based in reality at all. It doesn't obey the laws of physics. It doesn't care about common sense and certain things. There are some scenes, which we'll get into in the spoiler section, there are some scenes that just make no sense whatsoever. They're just fucking stupid. And the humans make stupid decision after stupid decision, things that should literally kill them, but they get away scot-free, and you just gotta deal with it. Suspend your disbelief. That's all I gotta say. Suspend your disbelief. This movie takes place in La La Land. The fight scenes themselves, they were great. Of course, obviously, they could have had an extra fight scene or two in there. In the spoiler section, I'll kind of get into like how I would have done the breakdown of the fights and just done the whole movie in general. But yeah, some of the fight scenes could have been a little bit longer, or they could have just been that one extra one, because there's a huge chunk of movie that's just dedicated to the humans. But once they get that out of the way, it's nothing but action and monster fight. The movie has to get you from point A to point B. You start the movie off with with a Godzilla attack, or you start the movie off with Kong, and then you go to the Godzilla attack, and then you go to the whole setting up for the first fight, and then setting up for the second fight. But, you know, just one more little extra fight scene between Kong and Godzilla could have kind of set it up. It could have been a flashback scene of the ancestors of Kong and Godzilla fighting that set up the whole Hollow Earth thing. But, you know, we'll get into that in the spoilers. And I think I've talked about this movie non-spoilery enough as much as I can. I'm really excited to really just dig into these rounds of between Godzilla and Kong. So spoilers will be coming up. spoilers from this point on. If you haven't seen Godzilla vs. Kong, please stop watching this movie, stop watching this video. If you just trying to get a quick non-spoiler review just to see if it's worth a watch, it's definitely worth a watch. It's definitely worth a watch. But from this moment on, spoilers. Spoilers. Godzilla whooped Kong's ass. I'm sorry. I don't care what team you're on. I don't care what faction. I'm Team Godzilla. Team Godzilla my whole life. I grew up with Godzilla. Fuck King Kong. He ain't nothing but a monkey who climbed a building and had a white woman in his hand. That's the only thing he ever really did. Godzilla has saved the earth time and time again. Get into the spoilers of everything, and let me just go back to the humans, get everything out the way. I like Paperboy. Paperboy, he was a conspiracy theorist in this, and he had to uncover the truth, and that was his whole thing. He was weird, and he wanted to uncover the truth. He was a bit of a comic relief, and that's kind of what the movie needed. That's all he needed to do was just be there and uncover the Mecha Godzilla truth and get that storyline going. And then you had Millie Bobby Brown, also known as 11 from Stranger Things on Netflix. She was in the movie. She's from the last movie, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, or Godzilla King of All Monsters, whatever that movie's called. She was in the last movie, and she's there helping Paperboy. Only two human characters that I cared about. I didn't care about the villains. I didn't care about the daughter of the villains. I didn't care about the heroes. I just cared about them two characters alone, because their scenes were hilarious. They had funny scenes, they had funny moments together on scene. There was that release number 10, and it literally is just Millie Bobby Brown and a bunch of strobe effects and the color red and blue, and I'm like, this is they could have just got this from season 3 of Stranger Things, and you would have never known the difference other than Paperboy's in the scene. But then the only two human characters that deserves a mention at all in this. Of course, some of the villain characters, they get their up and coming. Villain characters were the one-dimensional villain characters. The heroes were one-dimensional hero characters. And then you had Paperboy and Millie Bobby Brown as 11. The bulk of the movie, the meat of the movie, the stuff that you paid the ticket to see is King Kong vs. Godzilla. And going into this movie, like I'm a huge nerd, so I had to kind of, severely suspend my disbelief, because I'm like, Kong at most has ever been 102 feet tall. Godzilla's always been 300 feet tall. How are they gonna make this happen? But they made it happen. They set Kong Skull Island back, 30, 40 years. So he had time to grow up an extra 200 feet and be like, Godzilla size and get ready for this fight. Like in the opening credits, after they introduce Kong and Godzilla, they show all the monsters that Godzilla and Kong both have defeated over the years, setting up this versus match, the fight of the decade type of thing. So I like that. And just getting into round one, the first thing I want to say is, whoever thought about the environments and like who gets what advantage, bravo, they deserve all the awards, because obviously King Kong has no reason to fight Godzilla in the water. No reason. Like, why are they on boats fighting? Like, screw all the physics. That the battleship should have sunk. Like, there's one point in round one. Well, let me set up the scene. So they're going to Antarctica. They think that Kong, like salmon, King Kong knows his ancestral home, and he can lead them through the wormhole or whatever to the Hollow Earth and get to the Hollow Earth. Their way to Antarctica to do that, and long and behold, even though they're trying to avoid Godzilla altogether, Godzilla shows up and he about that ass. Godzilla shows up out of nowhere in waters he's never swam in before, searching for Kong to start a fight. And boy, does he start a fight. He shows up, he destroys the entire fleet without really getting out the water, using his tail and his fins to just ram through ships and destroying planes and helicopters left and right. It was such an amazing scene. That weird 360 shot between Godzilla and Kong, that was cool. Long story short, Kong being in chains, the boat gets capsized and Godzilla attacks, and then they release Kong, and then they just start fighting underwater. Such an amazing fight. Kong needs air. He's a monkey. He belongs in the jungle. Maybe he could fare better if this fight was in the jungle, but it wasn't. This is in the middle of the ocean on the boat. And Kong gets his ass whooped. He nearly drowns. He nearly loses his life, barely survives, and barely gets away. And, you know, the humans are like, oh, you know, let's pretend like we're dead so Godzilla can go away. Let's pretend like he won the day. And that stupid fucking plan worked. I can't believe it. Like, the dumbest thing in the movie. They literally sit there and say, cut all engines, cut everything that makes a sound, and don't move. So Godzilla thinks he won. And that happens, even though Godzilla and Kong stare each other down during the end of that scene. Whatever. But round one goes to Godzilla. Clearly, round one goes to Godzilla. Don't fuck with him in the ocean, because there's no fucks to be given in the ocean. He will kill you. Round two, so before round two, we get the whole Hollow Earth plot with King Kong, and he gets the axe, and you kind of learn a little bit about his backstory and his ancestors. Meanwhile, I guess Godzilla was still chasing them to Antarctica, but then turned around and went to Hong Kong because he's since Mecha Godzilla, but whatever. He goes to Hong Kong, he gets there, shows up on land, and just immediately rings King Kong doorbell at the Hollow Earth by shooting an atomic blast to the center of the Earth. And like literally help save the humans down in the Hollow Earth doing, you know, while they're doing all that. Two little things I want to add. I want to throw into this: the villains. The main villain, the mustachioed rich gentleman, and the young Asian fellow who's the son of the guy from the last movie who sacrificed his life. And you had the daughter of the mustachioed gentleman who was there at the Hollow Earth to get the energy signature. And how they died. The mustachioed gentleman died when Mecha Godzilla awakened, and they transferred the energy signature that the daughter, who before that shot missiles at Kong to move Kong out the way so they can get through the hole that Godzilla created to go to Hong Kong and survive. And like they pissed Kong off, and then they died. Like, what did you expect? Literally, what did you expect? Mustachioed gentleman died once the energy signature was completely installed and uploaded to Mecha Godzilla. Then Mecha Godzilla just went on a rampage and went rogue and just destroyed the thing. And Paperboy had his one little funny line. I want to finish hearing the monologue. And you know, that was kind of cool, but stupid. But very stupid. Very stupid. They used King Ghidorah's skull as a cyber link between the pilot and Mecha Godzilla himself, which kind of reminds me of Pacific Rim and the Jaegers and things like that. So, you know, obviously they're setting up a whole monster universe, and there's gonna be Kaiju versus Jaegers, which will be cool. But anyway, King Kong rings, Godzilla rings King Kong's doorbell in Hong Kong, and Kong comes up through the hole, and you get round two. Round two, Hong Kong city fight. Now, round one of the Hong Kong fight was like spectacular. It's probably my most favorite fight in the whole movie. You get both advantages of Kong, and Kong using the terrain, and him being a giant monkey, and him being able to gain altitude up on Godzilla, but then you just see the destructive power of Godzilla. Godzilla will level buildings, he will make everything just completely flat. He will use the atomic breath. Godzilla sees that he's going to use the atomic breath and does his best to avoid the atomic breath as much as possible. This is one scene where Godzilla even tries to, where Kong even tries to like takes the back of Godzilla's neck and rip his head off, or like snap his neck or something, and it just doesn't work because he does an atomic breath blast, and it's so cool. And then like just Kong just gets slammed into building after building and just gets stomped on. First of all, the end of round two ends with the atomic breath axe scene, and I've seen on the internet already people arguing about the atomic breath axe scene, and to me, I mean, the movie set it up to be a draw, that, you know, Godzilla did this atomic breath, King Kong had the axe, and they just both kind of canceled each other, knocked each other back. But Kong was way more hurt after the end of that fight than Godzilla was. Godzilla just kind of got up and shook it off, but Kong had a dislocated shoulder. He had the atomic breath blast, the scar on his back when he got hit, when he was trying to dodge it. So clearly, like, Godzilla won that fight. He won round two, hands down. You know, the fight, despite the fact that the movie was trying to make it end in a draw. Then, you know, obviously Godzilla gets up, shakes it off. King Kong gets up, tries to shake it off. And he tries to gain a height advantage and gets over King Kong tries to get over Godzilla's vision line, climbs up on the skyscraper, and then just kind of uses like a piece of skyscraper as a distraction and then uses it as a decoy to just smash his head into the building. But it was all in vain. Godzilla eventually got the upper hand and just like monkey stomped him. Like, it's kind of hard, really weird to say monkey stomp with a giant lizard, but like Godzilla just stomps King Kong into the ground, goes down, scratching him, biting him, all that stuff. And Kong is just there, just like literally moments away from death. And Godzilla's like, you know what? This ain't worth it. You a bitch. And he just walks away. He just ends the fight. He's done. He just walks away. And Kong's just there, and he was like, oh no, Kong is dying, we need to do something. And they get the idea to use the one of the little hollow earth ships to create an EMP or just, you know, create a big electric, you know, magnetic pulse to shock his heart and bring him back to life. Of course, they do it just in time as Mecha Godzilla, spoiler alert, Mecha Godzilla shows up out of nowhere in the middle of Hong Kong, destroys a mountainside, and just proceeds to whoop the ever-loving shit out of Godzilla. Don't get me wrong, Godzilla just fought King Kong, had 2 rounds with King Kong in Hong Kong. I don't care, you can call that second 1.5, 2.5, whatever, but he had 2 rounds with Godzilla and he was tired. And he needed a sensu bean. King Kong got a sensu bean or an ex machina. Godzilla should have used a sensu bean. He would have been able to handle Mecha Godzilla a little bit more clearly, more prominently. But, you know, he didn't have a sensu bean and he got caught off guard. So Mecha Godzilla whoops his ass. One small criticism I have about Mecha Godzilla, I do love the design of Mecha Godzilla. I'm a huge Mecha Godzilla fan. But I did not like those King Kong weird looking arms that Mecha Godzilla had, and you know, the finger missiles. The finger missiles, yeah, he has shoulder missiles and side missiles, but the finger missiles are Mecha Godzilla's thing. So I was definitely missing that factor. So now you got Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla, and Mecha Godzilla just continuously beats Godzilla's ass. Like, he uses the rockets on his back and uses like ki blast fist punch and just jump in the air and just like and he's more agile than Godzilla, like more Kong-like than Godzilla in that sense, and maneuvering around him and things like that, and Godzilla just gets his ass whooped. But the humans revive Kong with the little EMP ship thing. Again, don't know how he made out the ship alive enough time and off Kong's body to run through the Hong Kong city and whatever. I'm not here for, you know, belief, I guess. I'm here to see giant robots and kaiju fight. So Kong was revived. The Death Girl says Godzilla's not the enemy. The robot's the enemy. The robot's the enemy. And King Kong gets up and starts joining the fight and helps Godzilla out versus Mecha Godzilla in an epic team up. You have King Kong and Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla in Hong Kong, and this fight is epic. Godzilla uses the Mecha Godzilla uses the drill tail, and the atomic breath scene between him and Godzilla. And then he overpowers Godzilla with his red atomic breath energy because he's supercharged with the energy from the core of the earth. It's such an amazing fight. Like, if you came to watch this movie for movie's sake, then shame on you, because I came to watch this movie for giant CGI fight, and giant CGI fight won out hands down. Like, this movie, hands down, I have to give this movie an 8 out of 10 just for, like, this was a movie I didn't know I wanted until I saw it. And I'm glad that it was made. I don't care how much CGI was thrown in it. It should have been more. This whole movie should have just been, from point blank, just different rounds between Godzilla and King Kong, and then maybe towards the climax of the movie you bring in Mecha Godzilla. You have 2 rounds with Mecha Godzilla. The first round, Mecha Godzilla like murks, like just destroys Godzilla and Kong individually, and then the second round, when it's Godzilla and Kong versus Mecha Godzilla, then they team up and use their strengths together to defeat Mecha Godzilla. This movie definitely did not have enough Mecha Godzilla in it for me. This movie had a lack of Mecha Godzilla, but hopefully they could bring him back in the sequel, if there is a sequel, and introduce Mecha King Ghidorah. since they were still using Ghidorah's head and all that stuff. So yeah, this was I didn't know I wanted this movie. I think if this movie had came out, like, I know there's been different variations of Godzilla vs. Kong by the Toei company in Japan, but like to get a full Hollywood CGI billion-dollar movie thrown at us was amazing. Oh my God, this, like, I'm gonna go watch it again. Just like the fight scenes alone are just worth the admission. By the way, if you Team Kong, why? Why did you go into this thinking that Kong had a chance? Kong is inexperienced, he's way younger than Godzilla. He doesn't have like atomic breath, like, you know, that means something. Yeah, he has an axe that can absorb it, but he can only do but so much with it. And if you haven't noticed, like, he didn't use the axe nearly in the same way that he used the axe against Mecha G. When he was fighting Mecha G, he used the axe efficiently and did what he was supposed to do with the axe, but he didn't harm Godzilla in that same manner. He just used it to block and defend more, and it was stuck in the building most of the time when he was fighting just regular Godzilla. So, you know, honestly, the movie writers knew who the good guys were, Godzilla and King Kong. You know, you don't want neither of those two to die, but somebody gotta lose, so Kong lost. Hands down, Kong lost. Let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments below. Let me know what you thought. Were you Team Godzilla? Were you Team Kong? Were you satisfied with the fight scenes? Did you think King Kong might have had some advantages that were just overlooked? Because I don't think there were. Like, Godzilla just all around, it could be land, it could be water, don't matter. Godzilla got you beat. Godzilla got you beat. But yeah, just let me know. And if you're new to the channel, just, you know, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little notification for more videos by me. I'm on vacation. I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done. So you'll see more interviews with cosplayers coming up. I have a photo shoot vlog coming up. I definitely have a Falcon Winter Soldier video to make, and something called Invincible came out. So yeah, just, you know, sit back and look for more videos by me. Also, don't mind my hair.